you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine to go along with light winds and an afternoon high around 60. Tonight, clear skies and calm winds with a low around 30. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and more mild weather, an afternoon high around 64. Our meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Old School with DP&J.
So I knew that it was a crapshoot with the grown-up professionals at the highest level. Who's going to bet? I don't know whether the starting center's girlfriend broke up with him, whether his parents have groceries that week. I don't know whether his roommate and him had a fight. So why would I want to bet on that?
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. On the Block with Strick and Austin.
I think about all the infrastructure that got built up behind the scenes by Coach Osborne, that Coach Solich took over, and then some of that infrastructure was eroded. Matt Rule still has to prove this, but I think Matt Rule's style is that, yeah, he'd like the infrastructure in place, but I think Matt Rule has the personality to do everything in his power to bend it to the way he wants it.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Happy Thursday. Welcome into On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Streaming worldwide for you on our free mobile app for your phone and on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Also streaming statewide. Allo Channel 961. Big thanks to Allo for their support there. Also sponsoring our VIP line. If you want to be a part of the show, you can call in on the Honda of Lincoln hotline or use the Sardo Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. I'm Austin Norman, Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland to my left. We're going to go with the level before that, though, for this first conversation, Stricky. Your high school days.
Yeah.
Playing at Bell West. No shot clock. Youth in Nebraska. No shot clock. Until today. The NSAA officially installs a shot clock at all 6 levels of basketball for the next school year. That's A, B, C1, C2, D1, and D2. They get a shot clock, and it's 35 seconds long. Your initial reaction to the news of the shot clock implementation?
Long overdue. It's been a long time coming. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, but I remember when I was playing high school, I mean, we had scores in the 70s, 80s. Listen, you're talking 8-minute clock still.
Mm-hmm.
There was no change on that.
No.
We were scoring college numbers, anywhere from 50. There's been times we scored 80. 80. I mean, we was getting after it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. And then there was teams that said, there's no way we can run with that squad. And even teams even today that try to do that with Bellevue West. And this is why you see those games in the 40s. And I think that's ugly. I think it's an ugly game. It's holding the ball, and it's not fun to watch. You know what I'm saying, Austin? It's not a fun style to watch.
What are you learning by playing less basketball?
Yeah, you understand why. I mean, it's an advantage to the team that doesn't have athleticism. The goal of that team is to cause a turnover, cause a missed shot, get up by 2 to 4 points, and then just hold the ball. So it forces you to get into trap mode, do different things to try to create speed or turnovers or to speed them up. And it's just not a fun style to play. I'm glad. I think it's been a long time coming. And I ask the question all the time, like, why? Like, why at least not implement it on the A and B level initially if you want to do a test run?
Mm-hmm.
But then I understand then you got to look at budgets and, schools that you got to change whole systems. You got to add people to doing clocks. And so I can understand how you want to be stuck in that mode of not doing it. But at the same time, it's going to help the game tremendously, I truly believe. And that's what I'm hoping for.
How does it help the athletes, the players themselves? What are the benefits of the shot clock for that?
I mean, it's going to prepare you. I mean, if you have aspirations and goals to play at the next level, it's going to prepare you. It's going to prepare you for, what your expectations are. You got to get, you've got to get the ball over. You've got to get into sets quicker. You can't just
actual
meander.
Sets too.
You got to get into it. You can't just meander over and then take your time, and you've got to get into stuff because you want to be able to make sure you're getting a pretty good shot at a good time. And so I think it's going to help the game. It's going to force teams to get better. It's going to force you to either get your players really skilled. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have to know how to pass. You're gonna have to know how to cut. You're gonna have to know how to set up guys in a different way that you hadn't before. And so I think it's gonna help the game.
Here's the other aspect of it. Will it help Nebraska student athletes in getting recruited? Obviously, Nebraska sent more prep talent to the college ranks, whether it's D3, D2, D1, wherever. But will the implementation of a shot clock be more appealing to colleges across the country? Nebraska's not, the 50th out of 50 states to implement it. It's somewhere in the middle. But will having a shot clock give Nebraska kids a leg up in recruiting now?
Well, I think so. I think all across the board. I think it's going to prepare them even in the AAU system, because if you're playing it in top AAU programs, your Under Armours, your NYBL. Wait, what is it?
Yeah, NYBL.
EYBL. That's what it is. Your EYBLs, they even got a Puma now. And there's the Adidas. If you're playing in any of those, you're in most cases going to have a shot clock. And so it's going to help, because you have to change your whole mental approach and your psyche. And if you're not used to doing that, you can do it, but it's going to help just to, like I said, prepare you in so many different ways on the next levels of where you want to go and what you're going to, what you're going to have to do. I think it's going to help the referees a lot more too, become better. You got to become really skilled as a referee. There's so much more you're going to have to, in a game, to look for. You've got to be watching clock. You got to be watching time, got to be watching score. It's just not out there and reffing the game. So it's gonna. I think it makes the referees better.
Do you anticipate some bumps in the road, some tough moments next year?
Yeah, initially you're probably going to have that. And this is why the referees got to be really good. The referee's going to have to correct and timing issues, and you're going to have to take peeks up there. And if something's not going right, it is also going to help because normally you have counts, right? Now you can just watch clock, so it's some helps to it as opposed to count, because some people has a count. One, they're quicker, and some people are slow, but the clock don't lie. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, it's one of those things where even if you have count, which they'll probably still make you do, at least you'll be able to have clock to, determine when that actually happens. So those things are also good.
I'm curious to see which coaches catch on and learn how to go 2 for 1 or even 3 for 2. I mean, that's going to be a big part of it. You haven't really ever had to learn in Nebraska high school basketball is how to actually manage that clock. It's going to be 35 seconds. And you mentioned, college started with 45, went down to 35. And then it was less than a decade ago for the 2015-16 season that college basketball went from 35 seconds to 30 seconds. It's still not the 24-second NBA clock, but I think 30 is a pretty good number for college, gives a little bit of time to operate. What do you think about the 35 seconds for high schoolers?
I'm okay with 35. I personally say I wouldn't have even been disappointed at 40, 45. You know what I mean?
Does it need to work its way down at all eventually? Or
no, I think you're good. I think you're good at 35. I think that's enough at the high school level. You're looking at 10 seconds, at best or worst to get you over the timeline, and then another 25 seconds. If you can't get set up into something in 25 seconds, then, you're doing the game a disservice. So I think like I said, it's gonna make coaches work harder, because you're gonna have to take all that into account in so many different things that you're running, and some plays that you might run that takes a lot with all these misdirections and different types. You're not going to be able to do all of that. You're going to have to be able to
cut out the bull.
You're going to have to cut out the fat and get straight to the meat. Yeah.
If you had to guess, again, just putting your prognosticator cap on here, do you expect to see more or less pressing and more or less zone in Nebraska high school next year with the shot clock?
I think you'll see mixtures. You won't have to press as much.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you have the natural.
Yeah, the natural clock is going to speed that time up, and that's the thing. More athletic teams that you knew that they were better than you. You just knew that team was better. It's like maybe you can say Bellevue West playing against Gross or something like that, right? Bellevue West playing against
Bellevue East.
Bellevue East, right? And that clock is going to allow you to still do things creatively in the press or traps or half court or different things you can do creatively, but you don't have to hound as much because you knew those teams were going to do so. So your goal was always to hound them, to keep them in speed up mode. That's as a coach, if you're always trying to keep their mind in speed up mode. Teams that aren't very good, they're not very skilled. That's what that's used for, to speed up the psyche in the mind, to get them to push the ball, to get them to take a quick shot, to get them to think that they're open. And that way you can get out on them and force them to have to play a different way. But then a lot of teams just say, hey, I'm good with keeping it close. I just don't want to get beat by 30. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you're going to have that dynamic, which is going to make it tough regardless with the clock.
It sure will. Really interesting stuff there. I'm glad to see that the NSA has officially passed the shot clock. Give us your thoughts on the text line, 402-464-5685. Talking plenty of hoops this hour before we switch gears to college football the next. We did hear from the quarterbacks. Dylan Raiola spoke. Heinrich Harburg, Daniel Kalen all took the podium. Then their coaches, Glenn Thomas, the new quarterbacks coach, and Marcus Satterfield, the offensive coordinator, also took the podium. We'll maybe hit some of that as we get into hour 2 of the show. But again, give us your thoughts, 402-464-5685. On the addition, the implementation of the shot clock in Nebraska prep basketball. And also, Our college basketball shoot-around. We'll look at UConn not getting into Arizona until 3:15 local time this morning ahead of Media Day. What does that mean for the Huskies? Juwan Howard went one-on-one. How does he reflect on his time at Michigan? And plenty more as we continue on the block.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Women may be complicated, but I make sure buying jewelry isn't. Your gal has a style, and you can figure this out. Is she more of a classic necklace kind of gal, or does she rock the boho chic vibe with layers of delicate bracelets? This is crucial intel. Not trusting your intel? Stop in the store and we'll sort out the details. I promise to make this super easy. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch the NCAA tournament from the round of 64 all the way to the championship. Bring your friends and family in to enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early, grab your spot, and settle in for a day of NCAA tournament basketball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Community means something different to everyone. But for me, it means cheering on those around you during the good times and helping them out during the tough times. I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I've been blessed with the support of my friends, family, coaches, and community throughout my life. When looking for a bank to call home, it was easy to choose Midwest Bank. I never feel like just another customer, and they're proud to support their communities. They love what they do, and it shows. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jumping into a college basketball shoot around here during On the Block. Austin Norman and Erick Strickland with you. Almost a disaster for the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, the UConn Huskies. Stricky, they just had their plane land in Arizona at 3:15 local time. Woof.
Yeah. It's never easy. One, it's kind of that thing where you're riding in a car, and some of you guys don't do that very much these days. You know, don't jump in a car and ride for hours. You know, stuff me and my father used to do when I was young is drive cross country, drive from Alabama to California and stuff like that, stop in a few places. But it's that anticipation. There's a movie out that called Are We There Yet? And in that movie, it was one of those things where it was a constant the anxiousness of getting to the place and getting to that's listen, they've been there before. They understand what the Final Four is. They understand all that goes into it. That's the good thing about it. But also you're talking about a cross country trip already. So you already know it's going to be long, and then the frustration starts to kick in. Like, you know, there was, I've experienced that in many ways. I've experienced bad turbulence. I've experienced some mechanical issues that and there's a form of frustration that comes with it. And that's that's one of the things that I think is probably hard for a coach to try to mitigate and minimize. Like, what do you do to take away that frustration that you're stuck here? You can't move, you can't go anywhere, you can't go home,
can't do anything about it.
You know what I mean? There's nothing really you can do about it, right? And so then you get there early in the morning. You know you don't rest really good. I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe others do. I don't sleep very good on a plane.
402-464-5685. Do you sleep on a plane?
Yeah, I don't. I don't sleep very well or very long, even on the long flights that I had to take going to the Philippines and Thailand. Maybe 2-3 hours, maybe, without any, sleep things that help you to sleep. So I think it's tough because now you in essence lose a day. Now their sleep, there are going to be some requirements of them to wake up, maybe practice.
It's media day.
You see what I'm saying? So there's going to be some requirements, which you're tired, maybe you're cranky, but there's still enough time because they played a late game. So that's a good thing, possibly, that they can get back, and coach maybe will give them some leeway on, maybe a little free time to just kind of react. I mean, you've already got to adjust. You're talking about going 3 time zones.
Yeah.
You're going 3 time zones already. So yeah, it can be rough, man. It can be tough.
Here's the story. UConn was supposed to fly out at 6:00 Eastern time last night. There were logistical and mechanical issues with their plane coming in from Kansas City, of all places. So the issues, according to this, is from we'll get to that. So Matt Norlander of CBS Sports was saying the issue for UConn is that the crew flying the plane from Kansas City
timed out
would be over their FAA hours limit.
Yeah.
So they'd have to rest for the day, have to call it a day right there.
Or get new pilots. And stewardesses.
Airline attendants, whatever. So they couldn't fly immediately to Arizona. They could have, UConn could have gotten to
and
Cincinnati
you're talking private.
and flown.
You're talking private. So
Yeah.
this isn't like you're with American or you're with United, where they're what they call pilots on call. So in certain airports, they're always aware that timing out is a possibility. So therefore, there's extra pilots on deck and on call,
ready to go.
Mm-hmm. This is private. So you're talking about most likely the private staff was out of, like you said, Kansas City. So unless you're going to fly another staff in, you're trying to acquire or find another staff in Connecticut in a smaller area already. Maybe you can get something to come up from New York. You just don't know. And it depends on if it's a private or if it was, like, for example, I think when Nebraska flew, they flew Allegiant, right?
That's what UConn had as well.
They had Allegiant. So you got to determine whether or not there's enough staffing, and Allegiant's not a major aircraft company that has a bunch of pilots just on deck that aren't flying in their normal cycles. Like, I think Allegiant flies out of here twice a week, maybe Thursday, Sunday. So that's really kind of the pilots that you have. They're on, certain schedules.
Right. UConn tried to get a smaller plane out of Cincinnati, but it would have needed a stop to refuel, which is not exactly what they wanted.
Not fun either.
As they're trying to get again to media days, which is today down at the Final Four. They tried a lot of different charter companies, like you're saying, couldn't find anyone. So they finally do get on the plane with Allegiant, and they get landed in Arizona at 3:15 in the morning this morning. And to your point, Strike, I mean, that's a lot to throw on these guys. All the waiting around, just milling around. I mean, they probably had to be at the airport, hour and a half, 2 hours early to get everything, squared away. And then they're waiting, can't do anything about it. Dan Hurley's not exactly chill. You watch him on the sideline. So I'm sure he was pretty high strung. I don't think it's a conspiracy, but man, if UConn loses, can you imagine what we're going to be saying? They didn't get in. They didn't have their rest. Their schedule was thrown off. This is an outrage. I don't think it's an NCAA conspiracy, but I'm just waiting for the headlines if Alabama takes down UConn.
That's something definitely to consider. And we in media, sometimes we always are looking for those little avenues, those little stories. But maybe it'll be closer. Maybe the game will be just closer, because right now this UConn team has just been absolutely dominating the competition up to this point.
28 points per game they're winning by right now.
Yeah, there you go. So, and that's out of 3 of their 4 games, in a minimum 17 points. So, listen, maybe just make the game closer, because right now they look like it looks like it. There's a group called Boys to Men. It looks like this is boys, men among boys. The way that they're playing right now. And we've talked about that earlier. They're just one of those type of teams that just look like they're just playing above. Now the question is, though, Austin, and Sauter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Would you say this is one of those veteran-laden type teams that we talk about all the time? They've been there, seen this, done that. That Villanova kind of flow, where they're very mature. They're an older group with a good mix of younger talent. Like, what do you envision with this team?
Oh yeah, it's an older team. Maybe not the oldest team, but Newton, your guy, is a grad transfer. Okay, so he's his 5th or 6th year of college. You look at Hassan Diarra, who plays minutes. That's a senior. Caravan, redshirt sophomore. Cam Spencer, graduate guy. Klingon is a sophomore, but was there through it all last year. You even look at like Stephon Castle. He's a freshman, but that's a grown man as a freshman there. So yeah, I mean,
you feel me?
Dan Hurley's been there, done that. It seems like an older team to me.
Now, how did they do it? It's this retention. It's this run it back. This is why I'm kind of perturbed a little bit looking at the Fred Hoiberg situation, because I mean, if I'm a young player and we just done this great thing, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to run it back. But no, I want to run to.
Can't wait to run versus I can't wait to run it back.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. But I think the good teams that are able to win in the retention game, it's multi-pronged. I think it's either hit in the transfer portal, have good veteran leadership, or it's retention of your young talent and getting them to stay and understand. I really think it's just conversations that a coach needs to have throughout the year consistently with his team to help them to understand and know that, yes, you're still a part of this program. Yes, this is what I need of you. Yes, this is what I expect of you. Yes, you're not giving it to me. You can't really be cool in this game. It's not. You can't be cool in the game. You follow me on that one if you know. You gotta be real in the game. Like it probably, and sometimes, and this is one of the discussions we're going to get into with Juwan Howard. I think that he understands that not being upfront and real with his team probably cost him more than just being upfront and real, because you think that if you tell somebody the real of what the situation is, that they may bolt, and it's very possible that may be the case. So sometimes bolting is good. Sometimes it gets rid of cancerous type of situations.
Sometimes you jump off the Titanic in time.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, but it's kind of got me perturbed with the Fred Hoiberg situation of just so much loss. Whereas I think Klingon may even come back. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's NBA ready. Now,
I don't think he's ready, but I think he's going.
Yeah, he may test the market, but if he's smart, he'd be like Edey. If he's smart, he'll stay like what you want to show is complete dominance. Say what you will about Edey. He does have now, I think he has more stretchability than he's had previous, even though he didn't do it and shoot it or show it. I think he has it more than he's had before. You can see it in his free throws. Just you know he's got a stroke. Now, but what he's done is he's shown domination. So in most cases, a team is going to look and say, we can't pass on this guy. He may not be a top 5, but I think he'll be a first rounder, maybe after their lottery, because I think a team will say, even though we get him in, he's a project. He's got a nice stroke. We can work on that. Let's two-way him so he gets G League and
he's
NBA
playing
time.
through it, gets experience.
You know what I mean? And I think somebody will take a chance on that. But he's shown that he's a dominant force, right? That size you still can't duplicate, but he's still got stroke. So he's still not a one-trick pony, I don't think.
Is it any different for Klingon because UConn's offense isn't as predicated on him like Purdue's is predicated on Edey in a lot of ways?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I think if he, go out there and test the market, see where you land.
Get that feedback that
get that feedback. See, go to the combine, test out, have the conversations, talk, let them be real with you, get in their face. I think that's good. That's good stuff. But I also would say be real and authentic with yourself. Have real, candid conversations with your advisor or family.
Probably got an agent somewhere.
If that. But I don't know if the rules change. I think it has changed that you can retain an agent. I think it just recently, within the last 2 years, just changed where you can retain an agent, but there's only limitations as to what he can do. You can't take any money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think go out there and test the waters. I think if you don't land in the lottery, if you're Klingon, I don't think you should bolt, to be honest, especially if you don't have those skills, because NBA teams are not going to want to have to teach you that.
No,
they're not going to want to have to. They want you to come in. Let's go.
Here's our scheme. Go play.
Yeah. They want you to come in. Let's go. They don't want all that. They'll do it, but they don't want to. They want to give you minimal additions to your game. They don't want to have to overly
It jump shot's a pretty big addition.
And that's the same thing I have with Job. I'm like, young fella, you better go somewhere where they're going to train you up in the way that you should go. If you don't, you miss your opportunity, because it would have been right here in Nebraska.
Sure seems like it could have been. We will give our Final Four predictions and thoughts tomorrow for the UConn Alabama game and then the NC State Purdue game. Should be two really good ones. But now we're going to take a break and play the shootout with Strick. Call now 402-464-5685. We got $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings to give away to you, except it's not a giveaway. You got to earn it. 4 questions for Strick, 4 for you. You beat him, you're eating for free at Wings and Rings. Call now 402-464-5685. We'll play the game to wrap up hour 1.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Thursday, April 4th, versus the Columbus Fury at CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 6 p.m. with first serve at 7. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
The playoff race is heating up, and the Lincoln Stars are pushing for their 3rd consecutive postseason berth this spring. Join us at the Icebox as the Stars host the Sioux City Musketeers at 7:05 p.m. on Friday and the Omaha Lancers at 6:05 on Saturday. Friday is FFA and Ag Night, and Saturday is Billet Appreciation Night. Lock in your seats for all the fights, checks, and goals now at LincolnStars.com.
Community means something different to everyone. But for me, it means cheering on those around you during the good times and helping them out during the tough times. I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I've been blessed with the support of my friends, family, coaches, and community throughout my life. When looking for a bank to call home, it was easy to choose Midwest Bank. I never feel like just another customer, and they're proud to support their communities. They love what they do, and it shows. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Spring sports are here, and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 9th is buy one, get one free on 8-ounce flat iron steaks, limit 4 per visit. Also, $1.50 off all Bachan's Japanese barbecue sauces. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685. to take your shot against Erick Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
We need a contestant to play. 402-464-5685. Shootout with Strick, brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings. While we wait for that, Strick, I want to bring up what you mentioned with the Juwan Howard interview. He sat down with The Athletic and talked. I learned a lot more about Juwan Howard than I did about Scott Frost in their respective one-on-one sit-downs. And the point that you brought up about Juwan maybe needing to be a little more open with his team, and not just his team, but his bosses, people at Michigan, boosters, even his family to some degree, that really came across. The story mentions how he wasn't feeling good after some recruiting visits and flights, came back to Michigan, got checked out, didn't really want to have surgery, and then was finally pushed into doing it. Didn't tell anyone the extent. The doctor said, dude, take like a few months at least to recover. And he was back in 15 days, coaching, practice, and on the sideline. And the big takeaway from that for me, for Juwan, in his own words, said it was almost too much of an alpha male mentality, which is where, yes, I'm sure that competitive nature is what got Juwan Howard all the success that he's had. It almost killed him. It almost did. He had an aneurysm that was just waiting to rupture. The fact
his
he had
aorta.
In his aorta.
The major, yeah. Go ahead.
Such a scary situation. And as a former athlete yourself, I mean, built on confidence, how do you walk that line between being that alpha male when you walk in a room and still being open enough with people to literally not kill yourself on the job?
First and foremost, let me just say I absolutely understand, because I have a blood clot in my lung as well. Taking long trips, flying as much as they do, especially in sports and over the course of his years, and just even in his off time, even in recruiting visits, as much as he's in the air, it's something that I myself have had to deal with. I've been in the hospital once for 5 days, once for 7 days. And I know how it can take you down, and I know how close and on the brink he was. This is where sometimes, and this is the analogy I'll use, Austin, is there's times that I learned as a player that being injured, being hurt, where it's really hindering your ability to do the job at a high level. It doesn't matter if you show up and get on the court and you're trying to give your best. The fact that you say you're out there is going to be attributed to you as you're able, you're ready, you can play. Had a high ankle sprain. I played terrible. It literally left a bad taste in Don Nelson's mind that following year. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to help my team. But I learned that if you're not fully healthy, it's a business. Don't go out there and try to give what you can, because it doesn't matter. If you're not playing well, them numbers aren't showing up. It's going to be attributed to you regardless, as not you giving effort, but that
you holding them back.
You're messing up the team. So I learned to sit your butt on the side. Let them know how you're feeling, what's going on with you. If you can't go, you can't go. And I think that would have helped Juwan Howard more than hurt him. The more honest up front, not just with his doctors and his wife, but with his team, and, you know, allowing the delegation that you raise your coaching staff up to do and to be for the team, allow them to be at their best. And maybe this would have been a whole different situation.
It definitely could have been. And Juwan said too in there that he wanted to be out on the court because he promised the kids that stuck around that he would be out there for them. I would like to think they would understand that, hey, coach, you just had heart surgery. We can see the line on your chest. You're good, man. Like, we respect you. We appreciate you. You chill out. But it even extends to the incident with Kravenhoff of Wisconsin in that line, right? Juwan says, yeah, I take the heat for that, deservedly so. He didn't put hands on me. I did it first. There's the alpha male coming out again. I think legitimately we have seen some introspection, some learning, and some growth for Juwan Howard. And it's not the way anyone wanted it to end at Michigan, from Ward Manuel, President Chancellor's office, athletic director, any Michigan fans, any players, Juwan, obviously. Not the way it was supposed to end. But I think we've seen learning and growth from Juwan Howard, and I'm sure he's going to be successful, whatever that next stop is for him.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's tough. It's tough to come back home. And if there's, just look at Scott Frost's situation. It's just tough. It's tough to come back home and to be the king of the castle and to be loved by all of your what do they call it? If you're a king, you're not servants, but
subjects.
Subjects. To be loved by all of your subjects. It's one of the hardest things to do. And 94 was special. 5th draft pick in that, what was it, 90? I was 96, so 95. That class. Weber first, him 5th. I think they had Jimmy. Jimmy was in the second round. Ray was in the second round. And then Jalen was in the first round as well, like lottery, big 13 or something like that. So it was special. It was a special moment to return back to the maize and blue. And is it maize? Yeah,
maize and blue.
To the maize and blue, and it's just unfortunate that it didn't work out. And I think you're right. I think he will have an opportunity somewhere else if he decides that he wants to, you know, continue to coach.
Nobody called. You get your music today. You get it. We'll still give away the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Here's the trivia question. Okay. Here's the question. The question is, the Cleveland Guardians have the best run differential in baseball so far. How many runs have the Guardians outscored their opponents by through 7 games?
6.
Stricky says 6. Over or under? Texter number 6 will get the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Texter number 6 with the right answer. Over or under. Bonus points if you can tell us exactly how many runs Cleveland has outscored them by. You'll get preference for the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Hour 2, we're looking at college football. The proposed Super League is starting to gain some traction. Stricky and I will talk through that. And then quarterbacks, quarterback coaches, offensive coordinator at the podium today. We'll hear from Dylan Raiola, crown jewel of the recruiting class. He was at the podium. He talked. That'll be at 3:30. Don't go anywhere. Busy college football hour next on the block.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Thursday, April 4th, versus the Columbus Fury at CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 6 p.m. with first serve at 7. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete, Husker concrete, and Beatrice concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Attention all Wings fans! 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
One action, no matter how small, can have a world of impact on the life of a child. Cedars started because one couple believed that they could provide a child with a better life. And that belief grew into the Cedars that we know today, a powerful force for good that helps thousands of kids across Nebraska. Belief grows.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Here we are on the block. E. Strick here, Austin Orman. It is the second hour, 3 o'clock, and you know what it is. It's Thursday. It doesn't stop. Uncle Kev will be in the building soon, but right now we're going to jump into a few more things. First and foremost, though, we're going to talk about what was the trivia answer to the question of the day after Strick became the Chiznaid champ.
Strick is the Chiznaid champ. He got it done. But Riley W. will end up with the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. The question was, how many runs have the Cleveland Guardians outscored their opponents by through 7 games? You said
6.
Try 28.
You've got to be kidding.
Through 6 games, the Guardians are outscoring their opponents 46-18.
Oh my gosh. And was I asked about them? I was.
Mm-hmm.
Can it continue, though? Or
No.
is it just one of those things?
They don't even lead their division, Stricky.
That's crazy.
The last undefeated team in baseball is in the AL Central. Who is it?
Cubs.
AL Central.
Oh. AL Central. That would be...
Your boy Mickey plays here.
Huh?
Your boy Mickey Cabrera.
Former
Former Marlin. That's why he's your boy.
White Sox?
Tigers.
Detroit.
Detroit.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Last undefeated team in the majors right now. They're in the 11th inning
The
with the Mets,
Chi-Town?
tied at 3.
Detroit.
Oh,
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and a reemergence.
How about it? Mm-hmm.
Well, the Lions got busy. Why not?
Sure did.
But the doggone Pistons is Garbo. Okay.
Pretty bad.
Well,
Pretty
hey,
bad.
it's all right.
Which also on that front, on the Pistons front, really quick, one of the papers up there in Detroit, I don't know if it was the Free Press or someone else, is advertising a beat reporter opening to cover the Pistons. And in the job, they literally had to say, you get to cover Cade Cunningham. In the job description. You should take this job because you get to cover Cade Cunningham. Like, Cade was called on to save the Pistons, not to save the state of journalism.
No. That's hilarious, by the way. But shout out to the winner. And who was the winner again?
Riley W.
Riley W. Shout out to winning the $30 from Buffalo Wings and Rings. Congratulations to you. Now we're going to talk about something that's been proposed, something that's been discussed. We've talked about it, and now others are starting to signal and sound the alarm of the possibility of super leagues being put forth. In the midst of a major change around college football, some sports leaders are proposing a complete rewrite of the sport. So, how do you view it? How do you feel about it? What you think? Do you think it's time, or are we getting ahead of our own skis?
There's a lot to break down in this. So first of all, who are the people proposing this idea? It's not coaches, and it's not even athletic directors. It's college presidents, maybe some chancellors here and there. So the story that I'm reading quoted Syracuse's chancellor and West Virginia's president, Gordon G., who's been around college athletics for a really long time. They are...
Before you do that, I want your personal thought on why do you think this makes sense for now? Like your personal thought before you get into the details of the... I really... And Sauter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Do you think this is something that's needed? Is it necessary? And why now?
The reason I think it could be viewed as necessary is because it's a much more professional model. And if we're blurring the line between collegiate sports and pro sports, between college football and the NFL, we may as well just do the pro system. You know, if the compensation is more professional, if the schedules are more professional, if the travel is more professional, let's make the postseason and regular season structure more professional.
Okay.
That
does the NIL then need contracts?
That's part of this. That's part of this. The players would be paid directly in NIL and transfer portal, at least according to these people. The system would rein those in. They'd be, more under control. But who are these people that are proposing the system? CST is the group, College Sports Tomorrow. So it's those two, the Syracuse Chancellor, West Virginia president, Roger Goodell's right-hand man, Brian Rolap from the NFL is working on this. One of the owners of the 76ers, David Blitzer, and Len Perna of Turnkey ZRG, who you might know as the search firm that places all these conference commissioners. Those are the people proposing this system. So what exactly are they proposing? Let's just get down to...
And what are the benefits of the... Go ahead, break it down.
They're working through that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the setup as it relates to these teams, conferences as we know them. The current CST outline, according to the source from The Athletic, I'm quoting here, would create a system that would have the top 70 programs, which is all members of the 5 former major conferences, plus Notre Dame and UACC member SMU as permanent members, but still encompass all 130 plus FBS universities. End quote. So the top level, the top 70 are the Power 5 as we know them. Your Big 10, SEC, Big 12, ACC, Pac-12. Add Notre Dame.
Pac-12, Pac what? I'm sorry.
Well, the old Pac-12. Okay. And then add SMU, who's joining the ACC. So you have those 70 schools automatically in the upper division. Okay. Then you add 7 divisions to those 70 teams. So 7 10-team divisions. But then there's an 8th division of 10 teams to get you up to 80 teams. And those 10 teams are in that promotion relegation system, like you think of soccer. So of the, 60 other teams outside of the 70, the top 10 get their first crack at being in the 80. If you're in the bottom of that division, you get relegated the next year. In the top 5 from among the remaining 50 teams slide up. How does that relate to Nebraska? Nebraska would not be in danger of being relegated down below. Northwestern, Vanderbilt, Stanford, teams like that haven't really pulled their weight athletically are in no danger of being sent down to a second level, according to this system. Because they're in these power conferences right now, they would retain their spot among the top 70.
So then the monetary distributions, how does that work? Then, I would love to understand then how are champions, how are playoffs? It would require quite a bit of an overhaul. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the hangups here is the TV deals, especially because that's where the bulk of this revenue comes from. It's not from ticket sales. It's not from concessions. It's from the TV deals.
So would there be a combination at that point, Austin? And I'm just spitballing. Would it be a combination of the large deals that have been acquired out of the Big Ten, out of the SEC, and just merge it together and just make it huge?
Maybe.
And then just kind of add them all together and each
divide it?
Yeah.
I could see that working.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see how to make it easy.
Yeah. see, you're trying to make it easy. Everyone else wants their money.
Yeah.
So again, here I'm going to be quoting the Athletic piece. Chief among the obstacles this new venture faces are the billions of dollars in TV deals that all the top conferences have locked in with the major networks. ESPN, ABC, Fox, NBC, and CBS. The FBS conference has recently signed off on a 6-year, $7.8 billion extension with ESPN for the exclusive rights to the expanded college football playoff. How would Fox feel about ESPN all of a sudden getting Big Ten inventory when ESPN's not paying for it? How would ESPN feel about Fox or CBS getting SEC inventory when the SEC, just left CBS or CBS just left the SEC? College football, Strick, has been so territorial about this stuff. And yes, some of the lines are being blurred in terms of the conferences, but the TV deals are still a big deal. I mean, think about how we were seeing these conferences try to get the ruler out to measure their TV deals. The amount of money they had, that was a big point of pride for these conferences. I think it's a big obstacle to get them to put their pride aside, put it down, and combine their money like we saw the NFL and AFL do, like with the merger, for example.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing. You're seeing so much frustration because the top teams, obviously teams like Texas, who have great media rights and things already working on their behalf personally. Then you have Notre Dame's, who also have some of the stuff. Like, everybody wants their cashola. And then your teams that are best out of the ACC are saying, well, dang, we're carrying the load of it right now, us Florida States and Clemson's and so forth and so on. And then these other guys that ain't really doing much, they're getting a good share. How can we bump our? So everybody's going to be looking for how can I attach myself to the paper.
Here's another way they could do that. Universities would own a percentage of the league, similar to what happens with Major League Soccer right now. Unlike MLS, the revenue distribution would not be an even split. So that's part of the issue that Clemson and Florida State are having right now with the ACC is, hey, we're the ones carrying your flag. We're the ones carrying your brand. We want more money. Give us some more of it. This article says top brands like Alabama and Notre Dame would receive more of the financial pie. College Sports Tomorrow, that leadership group trying to implement the Super League, believes there would be added value in negotiating TV deals as one entity and creating broadcast windows that make more sense, much like the NFL's approach. There's that professionalization.
That's that. And but the thing with that is we're dealing in a time of equity, right? Everybody is trying to figure out how we can make it equitable.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just not how capitalism systems run, unfortunately, right? It's who's bringing the lion's share to the table.
Mm-hmm.
What type of ratings is this group able to generate as opposed to another group?
Mm-hmm.
It's not right. Shout out to the women that are raising the bar. This new group that, they're calling on Caitlin and they're calling on
Paige Beckers,
Reeves and Pat Beckers, to move on to the next level and try to save the WNBA. It's a lot of stuff, but it's not equitable. You know what I mean? Right now, the numbers just don't show. Now, hopefully it will turn and it will shrink, or you would go from the red into the black.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I can see that this could possibly be a major hurdle, that not necessarily that it won't get done, but that it could set it aside for a few years to come.
And it's never, this isn't a reason not to try, but it's never going to be perfectly equitable.
No doubt.
Even look at some of these pro leagues. I mean, Major League Baseball has compensatory picks for small market teams. If you're above a certain market size, you can't get a comp pick. If you're above a certain market size, you pay into revenue sharing. If you're below a certain market size, you receive from the revenue sharing, right? That's one way they try to even the playing field.
Yeah.
But
because that's what's going to happen in this league.
Yeah.
Austin, let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, your Notre Dames, your SEC top tier teams,
Ohio State,
your Big Ten top tier teams, they're going to demand a bigger chunk of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
And be probably required to, because that's been the thing with the transfer portal. That's been the thing with smaller colleges. A lot of smaller colleges lose out because, one, they don't have NIL.
Mm-hmm.
Big, they have it, but they don't. You're talking about maybe 15,000, 20,000 compared to. We had that conversation with just Crutch up at Omaha.
Yeah,
it's different, and at the level of play, trying to keep a Frankie Fiddler, trying to keep a William Kyle when you got 10, 15 for him, but on the next level they might have 50, 60,
even 25, 50.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So how are those lower tier teams, and what is a system that can help them to create parity? Especially at the football level. It's probably not going to happen, because this is what we're seeing happen even right now in front of our faces at the FCS level.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of FCS top linemen, top, skill players are able to bounce up. Your Samari Tourés and so forth like that are able to bounce out and bounce up because of the fact that there's better and bigger opportunities now at the NIL level as well as play level. So it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough, but I think it's workable.
It has to be workable, because there has to be a better situation out there than what we have right now. The other thing I think people would worry about, we mentioned the 7 divisions of 10 teams each would not be under conference banners, right? You wouldn't have Big 10, Big 12, anything like that.
Would it be South, Southeast?
They don't have names for them yet, but here's some stuff from CST. While the CST model would eliminate the long-time conference structure for football, right? Not for all sports, but for football specifically, it would create one entity to negotiate with a prospective union that would represent the players on NIL, transfer portal, and salary structure rules. The embrace of collective bargaining could allow it to avoid antitrust issues that have limited the NCAA's abilities to enforce its own rules so far. Move that down to a comment from, again, Syracuse's chancellor, who says, I really think conferences in the NCAA are at a very significant likelihood of going bankrupt in the near future because of the lawsuits, both the ones that are going to trial soon and those that will follow.
I'm trying to grasp and get my head around all of this is a lot. But again, I think you have to try to figure out a way to governize it, to have some governance over it. You have to figure out a way to get this. I think you can even take a professional salary type of mode. I think you can also help to minimize this crazy coming into a university with no numbers, you know what I mean? I think if you figure out a way to do that, you can have these little caps. You're in a certain level or a certain number or a certain percentage where you get this coming in and so forth, and it's dependent on what position, because in the same thing that football at the NFL level has tiers on value by way of position, right? Quarterbacks obviously at the top. Then you have like tackles, receivers, receivers, tackles, linebackers. It's a tier to it. Guards, centers, defensive backs, and then you can kind of figure out potentially what some of these entry-level NIL deals could look like at the position, probably a little bit higher based on your level. Maybe it's the stars. Maybe it's some way that they can figure out how to get this in order, because I think that's one area, that in the transfer portal, getting that check, making sure guys don't just do Quinn Ewers, do Proctor type situations where they go in, hit a lick, and are able to bounce out. There's got to be some form of penalty to that, or some form of kickback. I don't know. But it's a lot to it, man.
There sure is. I'm glad you bring up the NIL, because that's a lot of private equity. It's private money coming into the universities or the collectives to give. And that's another issue here, is that the people who are against the system right now or have questions about it are saying this CST group is trying to buy college football to make it into its own league, more so than leave it up to the universities, the schools, and the NCAA to decide. I don't know about that. I mean, private equity is already getting, introduced into college sports because of NIL. Like that's private money. It is. It was going to the universities. Now it's going to the collectives, to student athletes to some degree. So it's always been there to some degree, just maybe not to that level. Another couple paragraphs that stand out to me about that. Syracuse's chancellor said, "We've been looking at something that's large enough that it gives everybody a chance to compete, and that does translate into about 70 schools." So you're not looking for everyone to compete. You're looking for 70 schools to compete. That's how it reads to me. This also creates content that's more valuable, so it generates the resources to do more things that the university presidents think are important for college sports. It is not the case that the money to do what's right for our college athletes in football is just going to emerge from nowhere. Somehow it has to be generated. That's the thing. The money isn't just going to show up, right? You have to fundraise. You have to find a way to raise this money, really, at this point. So maybe it's unfair to the other, 50 or 60 schools left behind any given year. I think we all enjoy watching the occasional MAC game or Sun Belt game or whatever. And we'd see maybe a couple of those schools every year in that kind of 8th division of 10. But that just gave away the game to me. He's trying to say it's about everyone competing, but then the very next sentence gives it away. But it really just boils down to 70 schools. Who's making the determination that it's only 70 schools that matter? Is it fans? No. It's people who are detached from college football. People, hate to say, in the Northeast, making a lot of these decisions where, I'm sorry, there's just not that same attachment to college football as there is across the country. So why do those people, why do outsiders get to determine to college football fans and universities whose team is important and who's not?
Yeah, that's agreeable. And that's why I think it's going to be tremendous pushback. I don't think it's going to be implemented with a simple solution. I think it's going to be a lot of pushback, as you said, from those internal entities of the college football landscape. And you're right. It kind of reminds me of, political bureaucracy in a way, right? In a lot of the things that are being done, that, a lot of maybe coastal, elitist mindsets think one way.
Professional versus collegiate mindset.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be a clash. It's going to be a clash of the Titans, and who's going to win out is going to determine whether it's. This is why I think it's still a timetable that's going to probably be kicked down a little bit longer than what expected.
Perfect jumping off point for my last thing for this segment. I know you like to think things through, so get your thinking cap on, not that you ever take it off. CST, the College Sports Tomorrow group, is saying that, we just want the best for college athletics. That's all we ever want. Obviously, there are people that think differently, that think that they're trying to run, that they're the cabal, that they want all the profits from it, whatever. But Gordon G., president of West Virginia, again, here's his quote at the end of this article. "Speed is our friend. We don't have a lot of time to waste." Where does that get you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, that gets you thinking they're trying to, there's a lot of, the best way I can explain that, Austin, is in a contract or in a deal or in the signing of getting on an app or whatever, or at a bank or whatever the case, there's a thing called fine print. And this is where the fine print is hidden in speed. And this is why I think things can get pushed through, kicked through, knocked through, jammed through without really having the time to weigh it out, weigh the consequences.
The big picture of it too.
Yeah, the big picture. And this is the problem, I think, what's, like NIL was not necessarily something that just was pushed through. It was time, but they didn't see the coming of it and get ahead of it and say, well, if this happens, then when this happens, what? You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have those type of discussions, and all of a sudden, boom, it slams on you. Now it's like, woo, the doggone horse then jumped out of the gate, and that sucker's going. Like, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I wasn't ready. Yeah, and that's the problem.
It is, because I think when you think about just deals in general, the person that's getting a good deal wants it signed sooner than the person who doesn't know what they're getting.
That's a fact, Austin. And that's what I'm alluding to. And that's what's scary, potentially, about it. This is why I think there should be a tremendous amount of pushback. Don't allow it.
Something's going to happen at some point. The NCAA strict, the knock on them has been they've been so slow, right? So slow to change with the times, holding on for dear life to the past. But then this group wants to go almost too fast. Find the middle ground. There has to be middle ground somewhere. That's where I land on all of it. How about this? Let's hear from Dylan Raiola.
Let's hear from him.
He was at the podium today, part of quarterback day at the Nebraska Spring Press Conference today. Let's hear from Dylan Raiola when we get back to On the Block. Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch the NCAA tournament from the round of 64 all the way to the championship. Bring your friends and family in to enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early, grab your spot, and settle in for a day of NCAA tournament basketball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations. Guess what?
What?
There's 5 Lincoln locations now. Oh my gosh. That's 25% more Lincoln locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street.
Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and Air Park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries.
Hi, folks. Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and the Chevrolet and GMC Truck Month is now underway. We've got huge savings in Louisville. Get $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months on select models. Yes, you heard right. That's $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months happening right now at Coppell. So take that short money saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit. Stock number G214773.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine to go along with light winds and an afternoon high around 60. Tonight, clear skies and calm winds with a low around 30. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and more mild weather. See an afternoon high around 64. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
One action, no matter how small, can have a world of impact on the life of a child. Cedar started because one couple believed that they could provide a child with a better life. And that belief grew into the Cedars that we know today, a powerful force for good that helps thousands of kids across Nebraska. Belief grows.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back on the block. Thanks for tuning in with us from 2 to 4 weekdays. I'm Austin Norman, joined by Husker Hall of Famer Erick Strickland. Today, Nebraska Spring Press Conference. Big day. Talk to the quarterbacks and the quarterback-adjacent coaches. So Marcus Satterfield took the podium. New quarterbacks coach Glenn Thomas took the podium. The only guy with any starting experience at quarterback from last year, Heinrich Haarberg, spoke. Daniel Kalen, incoming freshman from Bellevue West, early enrollee, spoke. As did Dylan Raiola. We've got some audio from Dylan Raiola cut up from today's press conference. We're going to take you through that now. One of the questions for Dylan Raiola, how did you set expectations for yourself? Here's the young man's answer.
I just try to take it day by day. We have the spring right now, so just, really focus on each day of spring ball and take every day as its own. And then, not try to think too far ahead. I want to get the connection down with the guys and really just be around them, just get to know them, get comfortable with them. And that's the main focus.
One of the main groups that Dylan Raiola has to get comfortable with is the wide receivers. We went over the teams, the 3 Nebraska Spring League teams on the air yesterday. If you missed that, check it out on the podcast where you get your podcast. But Dylan Raiola is not with any of the older wide receivers, and either the transfer wide receivers in Isaiah Nayor or Jamal Banks. But how is Dylan Raiola developing chemistry with his wide receivers?
It's been a lot of fun. They come in every day, work really hard, study their tape, and they go out on the field and they make a lot of big plays. They take the pressure off of us, and they go and catch the ball when they need to, get open to routes when when the number's called. So it's been a lot of fun. They work really hard, and off the field, they're a really good group of guys to be around.
Strick, as we talk about the wide receivers and Dylan Raiola's role in getting them the ball, he said, I think Daniel Kalen said at one point too, their job is to get wide receivers the ball. I mean, even if it's 5 yards down the field, it's a group that can turn 5 yards into 20 yards, into 25 yards. Do you think that Nebraska's quarterbacks this year will be better at getting their receivers the ball in space to do more after the catch?
Well, I got a chance just to watch him in his pro day. And what I noticed the difference is, one, the launch angles of his passes, how they came out of his arm, how the spiral, the tightness of it, location and placement, where guys didn't have to stretch to go get it, where they can literally just grab it and just get into whatever mojo they wanted to get into. Now, obviously, that's going to change when you have line and people in your face, but he has size, so he's not a small guy.
No,
he definitely can look over, the line, and if they create pockets for him, that he'll be able to make the throws necessary. That's what I liked about him. It looks pure, it looks sound. His mechanics are solid, and that's what I noticed. I haven't got a chance to see Kalen too much at this point, but as definitely Dylan, I think he can do that.
How about this? Just getting transitioned from high school to college. Daniel Kalen mentioned that he couldn't imagine not enrolling early. He feels like he would be behind if he hadn't started, in the spring as opposed to in the summer. What about for Dylan Raiola? What's the transition been like from high school to college for him?
I think the biggest thing is just catching up to the speed of the game. Players are moving faster. The level of competition is a lot better. The players are moving at a lot faster pace. So, just catching up to the speed, I think is the biggest thing. And then, just understanding what our defense is trying to do and attack that.
Stricky, I saw you nodding along when you heard Dylan Raiola mention the speed of the game.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter what sport you're playing. That's one of the things that you're going to have to make an adjustment to. There's guys that I would say in high school that, I hit them with a shoulder, I'm to wherever I want to get to. And then you're looking at a freshman. Now you're dealing with some men. I mean, you're a freshman, you're 18. I mean, I'm a little bit different because I was 6'3", 205 coming into college, so I had a little bit of, just natural strength and so forth. The weights obviously increased that. I left here at like 215. So I was always I was pretty much strong. It wasn't the case, but the speed, moves and different things that you had to increase your counters. Same thing in this. Guys are going to come off that edge faster. Whereas in college, in high school, you maybe had 3 to 4. If you're playing a perennial powerhouse, you might have had 6 to 8 guys on maybe 4 on offense, and then maybe 6 on defense, a couple of cornerbacks, a safety, a linebacker, and a DN or a D tackle. That's if you're dealing with powerhouses. If you're dealing with regular, you might have had 2, maybe 4, couple on one side, couple on the other. So the athletic abilities of them, the holes, the pockets, they were open longer. So guys running slants, guys running digs, guys running posts, that window's open a little bit longer because just the athletes and their abilities just weren't there. Now those things are going to close quickly. Your reads you've got to have your reads. You've got to make your decisions. You've got to get it moving and get it going. And you don't have time to kind of sit, peruse, sip on a pina colada and then do something. You're going to have to do something immediately after the decision is made. And I think that's what he's talking about.
I think it applies when you look at, just like you're saying, the caliber of athlete, but also you brought up a little interesting nugget too, how quickly you have to make your move, right? Without being sped up. It's the snap is going to be there maybe half a beat sooner. Your footwork has to happen a little bit quicker. Your running back is going to be on you for a handoff, maybe a step quicker or so. So even if
3.5 seconds to 2.8,
there you go.
Know what I'm saying? As far as you better go ahead. I just wanted to say that with the line.
Well, yeah, that's how long you have. That's a pass block win, 2.8 seconds in the NFL and college. So even though the athletes are bigger, faster, stronger, the pace, right, the tempo of the actions and the movements themselves, that has to be an adjustment too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question. There's no doubt. That's what it's going to be like. And obviously, the better that you are at it, the more of a prospect you become next level.
Yeah.
Because windows shrink, especially if now listen, we've heard that this receiver core are like grown men. They like grown men out there. So, their releases, one of the things that I think Nebraska had a problem with is releasing.
Especially against man.
Yeah, against man coverage. I don't think that's going to be a major problem because I think Nayor's got speed and physicality. Banks is a tremendous route runner with that type of size. So, I'm not saying he's Michael Irvin, but that's kind of like what Michael Irvin was. Michael Irvin wasn't going to blow, Jerry Rice wasn't going to blow the doors off of you, but they were physical and they were, they ran great routes. Like, I wish like Nayor would be like Megatron. Ooh, like if we had that kind of size and what's the man? What's his name that died? He passed away not too long ago out of Georgia Tech. Just like
Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas. Like if one of
the other guy at Georgia Tech, Megatron Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
him. But if they can be like, I would love a Randy Moss, but
wouldn't we all? Terrell Owens.
Oh God,
something like that.
Yeah, I would love one of them, but that's begging, that's praying hard, hoping for a lot of hope. Yeah.
How about this? Dylan Raiola asked, what's something he feels like he needs to catch up on as he enters the college game? Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I think creating explosive plays has been, probably one of the better things I've done. And I think something I got to catch up on is, the protections, understanding where my answers are and things like that. So I think it's just the scheme wise catching up. Obviously having Heinrich being able to teach us the scheme. Very lucky to have him in the room and have some experience on the field.
Makes sense, right? Learn the scheme. Glenn Thomas, an NFL guy, probably teaching him NFL footwork, NFL ball handling. Marcus Satterfield, the scheme as the offensive coordinator, but also Marcus Satterfield said he wants to have a good relationship with, all the quarterbacks. He's bouncing back and forth between the tight ends room that he's coaching and the quarterbacks room. But if I'm giving, these quarterbacks any advice, it's if you're spending, 75% of your time with your quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator, spend the other 25% with the defensive coordinator. Because I think Nebraska's defense, the way it's set up with Tony White, will be a great learning tool for these young quarterbacks and how to adjust to the college game.
No doubt, because it's just not show and go. It's just not a 4-3 with a cover 2 and maybe a little shift. It's a lot of moving parts. 3-3-5, you're already going to have more secondary guys out there. You don't know if they're going to be dropping down into flats. You don't know if they're going to be dropping down into coverage areas, and you don't know if they're blitzing. So I think it's going to make it. I think it's going to help them. If you're able to go against that on a regular basis. Yeah.
Nebraska's 3-3-5 has its own layers. Obviously, what Iowa does has layers too. It's been hard for teams to solve. Luke Fickell has run some good defenses before. I'm sure there's plenty of puzzles there. Oregon's speed in scheme comes into play now. So there's a lot on the table for these young guys to learn. I think they're in a pretty good environment to do it. Good stuff there from one of Nebraska's 2 quarterback recruits in the 2024 class, Dylan Raiola. I'm sure we'll get Daniel Kalen, Heinrich Harburg, and the coaches cut up here at some point soon as well. So stay tuned for that.
Real quick, shout out to Hoiberg again. Once again, National Coach of the Year honor. Shout out to him, and hopefully it'll help in all that he's going to have to do. He's going to have to pull out another rabbit out of the hat. So shout out to him again.
Jim Phelan, I'm going to say Coach of the Year award. Tim Miles also won it. So that's 2 straight coaches for Nebraska on the board with that award. He's Strick. I'm Austin. This is On the Block. We'll wrap up the show after this.
Landmark Implement is your local authorized John Deere dealer. Landmark's trained and certified sales staff will help you find the right equipment for your needs at a price that's right for you, all backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network. Whether it's a tractor, planter, combine, an easy track lawnmower, or gator, every piece of equipment in pre-owned inventory is put through a rigorous inspection so it's ready to work hard for you. Landmark's team works together to make sure everything is sold meets their quality standards. Learn more at landmarkimp.com or stop into a local Landmark location and experience the Landmark difference.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch the NCAA tournament from the round of 64 all the way to the championship. Bring your friends and family in to enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early, grab your spot, and settle in for a day of NCAA tournament basketball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine to go along with light winds and an afternoon high around 60. Tonight, clear skies and calm winds with a low around 30. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and more mild weather. See an afternoon high around 64. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and air park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back one final time here during On the Block. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland, joined by Jay Foreman. What's up, Jay?
What's happening?
We are taking the gloves off. We're laying them down. We're all friends here today. Okay, we squashed the beef. We're good. We're chill.
I totally forgot.
Yeah.
But since you reminded me, it's cool.
Yeah,
I need to get some get back
eventually. We were just playing some audio from Dylan Raiola, who took the podium today, as did the other two quarterbacks, Harburg and Kalen. Satterfield and Thomas also spoke. One thing that stood out to both Strick and I was that both Kalen and Raiola mentioned the speed of the game changing. Strick mentioned it going from high school to college and college to the pros. When the speed of the game changes in football, what parts speed up?
Well, I mean, no matter where you play at in high school, you might have some big kids out there, but you don't have the same size and speed guys that. I mean, these guys are more mature. You got to think look at it like a Ty Robinson, Nash. They're on their 5th, 6th year, so they're 23, 24 years old. They're more developed mentally, physically, and emotionally. So they already know where they're going. They've been to practice before. They've been to these meetings. So they're just by that alone, they're a step or two ahead. And you got to think the receivers are bigger. Look at it like a MJ Sherman, who's, but I think he's probably anywhere from 240, 250. In high school, you might be a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman. Well, he's an outside linebacker or a stack backer. That's just those guys. You're just getting bigger, faster, stronger, and they know where they're going. I mean, I remember, I will never forget the first mini camp that I was in, or rookie camp, or first mini camp, because we did rookie camp and then, regular mini camp with the vets. And those big Jamie Nails, if you Google Jamie Nails that played for Buffalo, he's about 6'6". He played at about 380, and I ain't seen a big brother move like that ever in my life, Strick.
That is one large man.
Listen.
Big boy.
Yeah, and he was moving, and there was no wasted steps. He's a former basketball player. Obviously, he had the buffet and everything. Played at Florida A&M. Now, granted, you think of Florida A&M, and they weren't the place you go for offensive line, but Jamie Nails is a phenomenal player. And when I talk about him moving, he not only did he scoop block me, he was out of his stance, Strick, and I'm still trying to read, from the triangle, and he's already up on me. And so you got to get used to it. I think you naturally will adapt as you become more comfortable with your environment. The speed, you naturally will adapt, but you got to know what you're doing. You got to be able to anticipate. You won't be able to anticipate until you get better at the little things. Your footwork has got to be a little bit faster. You can't be in a hurry. I always talk about.
So you have to go faster, but you can't be in a hurry.
Yes,
talk about that.
And it's the difference. I talk about it all the time in basketball. Play fast, but not in a hurry. Right? Play at a great pace. Play at your highest pace that you can, that you're comfortable with. Being a phenomenal athlete at. When you're in a hurry, that means you're doing everything and you're almost running before you even get the ball. And or anything like that. You see that a lot of times in a receiver, you're trying to turn up before you even catch it, where you end up dropping it. So playing fast is playing every single play as if it's a championship game or a game like atmosphere. And you do that, then the rate of speed will, the learning curve or the speed curve will lessen, and then you'll just be able to, just be a part of the process. But it's a different rate of work than anybody from high school has ever done, no matter where you went. Now, what allows you to adapt quicker is coming from a more structured high school program where you've had to compete in a standard of excellence and work, and
like a Buford, like a Bell West,
right,
modern day,
or something like that.
IMG.
Yeah, or like even like a Miller North in basketball, Bellevue West in basketball, Omaha West Side in football. Just wherever it's at. Maybe at some prep schools. I don't think all prep schools do that. I mean, Strick would know more than me. I don't think every prep school gets you prepped for college.
Yeah. Period.
I just don't. The same with like JUCOs. I don't think I think the really good JUCOs do it, and you see guys go from JUCO to playing rather easily, right? They have academic standards, they have work ethic standards, they have I'll call it cultural standards, where how you treat people, on and off the the field, on and off the court, and then they have a practice standard or whatever you want, or just a standard to live by or to operate by. And you see them, like, man, he made a quick transition.
And you had to live on your own.
You live on your own, right?
Similar to dorm type of
thing. So, so it's going to be an adjustment, and that's where you want to see continuous progress. In a win for a freshman or a young person. I went through it in my first year. I was just talking to the head coach from Westside. I was like, man, I remember when I had 2 good practices in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like I didn't embarrass myself, or I didn't get like just tossed around, or I just was non-productive. And it used to be very small win streak. And I don't know if you had this early in your basketball career when you came from Bell West to here, is where it's different because we had like inside run, outside run, blitz. So we had different competitive environments. So maybe you would be like, okay, you have 6 reps and 3-on-3 or 1-on-1 competitive drills, and you did what you needed. You won like 4 out of the 6. To me, that's okay. So for me to be okay, I made a couple legitimate plays in inside run, and they weren't freebies, meaning you're running free and you're making a tackle on Lauren Phillips because that's why you're free, because they feel like Lauren Phillips can beat you.
Right.
Now, did I defeat a block? Did I have the right read? Did I maybe if I didn't even make the play, was I able to take on a tight end, win, not lose ground, and make a winning play? Those are the things that you have to do as a young player. Because if you think as a young player, very rarely, unless you're like Jeremiah Smith that's at Ohio State, he's a man child. If you think you're going to go from Seacrest Field to Memorial Stadium,
AD Field,
AD
Stadium,
AD University, Field. Aaron Davis University, statue still out there. If you think you're going to go from there to the Big Ten or SEC and just think you're just going to
that part,
it's not happening unless you're somebody special. And when you're somebody special, you have to have something that you can't really coach. Basketball, you got to be, I would say, either extremely really skilled with the ball and being able to score, then you're more of a setup guy, or you have to be like Jabari Smith was at Auburn, 6'10", 6'11", unicorn, right? You're just a matchup problem because Strick's close to 6'4", you're 6'4", about, right? 6'3", 6'4".
6'3".
Okay, so then he can play the 2. Well, then now he's a matchup problem for you, and it has nothing to do with skill.
Mm-hmm.
He's 8 inches or whatever taller than you, so he's able to be effective at a position that he's normally not playing. That's not the norm, and it's not the norm in football. Even if you're a big lineman, right? You could be strong and be like bulky,
but you've dominated so much at the high school level that these other guys know how to slip, dip, get hands on you. You don't, you know what I'm saying?
Well, have you seen the big dude from down there? I know he's
Duncanville.
In Dallas.
No, DeSoto.
There's a big offense, about 6'8", about 400 pounds.
Huge.
Right. So look,
dominate.
He's going against DeSoto, who's been the 2-time champ, throwing Division I guys out the club just because he's so big. Well, listen, you come to college, you're dealing with guys with football strength and size.
And that's different than weight room strength.
And that ain't, listen, you can play with bad leverage in high school because you could just engulf them. If you come up here in the big leagues and play with bad leverage, you're gonna get embarrassed.
Put on your butt.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna get sat down. You're gonna mess around, go against a DB like a Bob Sanders that's got that short area pot. He gets underneath your pads, then you get ejected up, and then now you look like something off of Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Remember when you hit Glass Joe with the uppercut and he goes up? I've seen guys that happen to them.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's going to be a constant battle for them, every quarterback, including Heinrich Harburg, how you continue to answer the bell on a day-to-day basis. It's the hardest thing to do in general as a football player.
Yeah.
It's even more harder. It's even harder as a freshman. It's just what it is. It's the hardest thing to do.
That's a good jumping off point. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID here real quick before we get to Thirsty Thursday.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, Jay, you mentioned being a freshman, and this I think works for both of you. Jay, middle linebacker, Strick, you ran plenty of point guard in your time.
Yeah.
Both Kalen and Raiola were asked about being a freshman, stepping up and having to lead grown men. It's their first time on a college campus. It's not their receivers, their linemen, their running backs, first time on a college campus. Stricky, starting with you, playing a point, running the show, making sure everyone's in order. How did you, as a young point guard in college and the pros, adapt to being the younger guy?
That's the problem. Didn't play it in college, but
okay.
in the pros,
yeah.
For me, I'm going to be honest. I was the beneficiary of great mentorship. I had, and I know Jay can allude to this, having somebody in that linebacker room that, you can rely on. Derek Harper was a tremendous asset to me. Just things that I needed to see or didn't see or missed or what I could do better. He taught me a couple of things to elude, so having that, when you don't have that,
and you're figuring it out on your own,
it's tough. This is why this is why I thought a good quarterback coach is needed, because that person that he can be that for you. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to have nobody in that room that you're going to be able to have sit downs with and have discussions about, hey, this happened and I saw this, and, how would you have handled that? Or what could you have done better? Or, well, they had the mismatch happen and you didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like you can have these types of discussions. I was very beneficiary to mentorship.
Yeah, man. I was just talking about him today, John Holisek, when I came to Buffalo. He was a 5th round draft choice as I was, years prior. They just re-upped him, so there's no reason. First of all, he was a great player, great leader, and obviously a great mentor. So he had no reason to be threatened by me. Now eventually I end up taking over, but I actually played alongside him. But it's that was helping me for when I went when I was a rookie to be calling the signals. Now I was fortunate enough to be able to do it in college. Now, when I started as a freshman, I was an outside linebacker. Guess what I was able to do? I was able to emulate or see, I call him Dr. Death, Phil Ellis and Doug Coleman. Now, Coach McBride did a really solid. He told Phil and Doug, this dude's a freshman. You better make sure he knows where to go. Now, I took it upon myself to know, but guess what I was seeing every single time we called? I saw his body language. Mm-hmm. I saw how he changed the octave in his voices. I saw when he was able to to alert something, you don't get it in basketball, but, or maybe you do, hey, end of the quarter, they like to do, a quick quick pass in a 3 corner, watch for this. So I got to see all that. So then when I had to go to middle linebacker, I had something to see. And then plus as a young kid, you got to really, the one thing that everybody needs to understand, if you're a football player and you bout that life, there is no off switch. It's just who you are, and that's the difference. Strick is a competitive athlete, baseball, basketball, football, and he chose to do basketball. So he's a hooper. He's a basketball player. Even right now, that's just who. When he walks around, that's who he is. If you went to, say you're up walking around Minneapolis, and now and just say there's somebody that maybe is a little bit older than you. It. It's a sixth sense. It's like almost when wolves see each other or a lion see. You just know it. And if you are about that life and that's who you want to be, all the stuff they talked about will just work itself out. You're a quarterback as soon as you wake up. I'm a linebacker every single day. That's just who you are. If you know what I mean? You hard. If you physical, you physical.
Right.
If you right. That's just who you are. You ain't turning off grimy, Now granted, you got to take it to another level. but it's just who you are.
That's good. That's well said.
Good stuff. What's coming up on Old School? After Thursday.
After Thursday.
Look at that smile on Stricky's face. He's beaming.
It's Commissioner Foreman time. Well, first of all, I'm gonna be Uncle Foreman. We're gonna dig into what Dylan said. Okay. And then it's gonna be Commissioner Foreman. How I'm gonna handle this 80-team Super League.
There we go.
Ooh. And and the thing is, I'm gonna set it up mafia style. I'm the Dundada. You know what I mean, the Jamaican, right? You know Belly. I'm the Dundada. And then I got everybody.
The original Dundada.
That's what I was thinking.
Look at them. There they go. They're back. Jay Foreman, Erick Strickland, Austin Norman. Old School next. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker concrete, and Beatrice concrete. Nebco offers great pay,